Hello, everybody. Look at me, a freshly showered, clean boy, and this 1080p is making me look extremely blotchy. Ugh. It's time for round 3 of the 5th Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series. I have got a very interesting match for you today. It is two undefeated players. One of them is playing Eldlich. I apologize. I know that you individuals don't like watching meta decks, but I tried my hardest and then decided that my hardest was not worth the effort. One is playing Eldlich, yes, but it is a variant of Eldlich that I like very much. It is the zombie version of Eldlich, which has access to Doom King Balerdroch, Unizombie, etc., etc. They are playing against Lil Spee That Could, who is playing Tenyi. Tenyi, a deck that we have not seen represented in any capacity at any tournament, really, outside of, like, Vanity's Fiend Turbo. So I'm excited to see what Lil Spee has cooked up. Knowing them, it's going to be something as bad as possible. So without further ado, I will let them know that I'm ready. And then we will be off and away. Off and away. My friend loves Tenyi. Well, you may be necessary to tell me what it does. All right. All right, let me see if I can figure out what exactly Lil Spee is playing. Okay, so as most Tenyi decks do these days, it is playing 3 copies of Vanity's Fiend, and I think aims to summon that early and often if given the opportunity, but also has a ton of combo potential as well. To those of you saying Striker in finals at the Luxury event, is it Ryan Yu? Because if so, that is not surprising even a little. That individual has made a deal with the devil to be good at one deck for the rest of time, regardless of how good that deck is. And it looks like the Eldlich player has opened Jet Synchron, so good game, everyone. We tried our hardest, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough, you know? Sometimes the better player wins, and oh no! Spee's opened D Crow. Looks like we might actually have a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! On our hands, folks. Cursed Eldland, a good card, but unfortunately can only get Eldlich, can't get a tuner. So we'll pay 800 life points in order to activate the effect of that, get a Golden Land spell or trap or Eldlich to our hand. Selecting a copy of Conquistador here, that's interesting, and it looks like the Vanities line may not be very good. Ooh, that is not strong. So Conquistador triggers here, we're going to be able to get Scarlet Sanguine. And turn pass back to Spee. Spee could do something here. Scarlet Sanguine as early as possible in order to get an Eldlich from the deck. And all we got to beat is 1 pop. Now, unfortunately, Eldlich on field is not very good for Tenyi. You know, you don't want there to actually be a monster with 2500 attack to walk over your Vanity's Fiend, but basically no way you could avoid that with a Cursed Eldland on the field. It means adding Eldlich to hand turns off Vanity's Fiend as a win condition at any point. We're going to go into Monk of the Tenyi here, and then fire off Vessel for the Dragon Cycle. You get to send a worm monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if you control a non-effect monster, you can add a Tenyi monster with a different name. Unfortunately, very weak to Ash Blossom. Foolish Burial, the next card going to be sent, and I believe we will be getting the only good Tenyi into the graveyard right now. Let's see it. And there it is, Tenyi's Spirit, Ashuna. Ashuna allows you to special a Tenyi from your deck, very strong. Mapura Can be special from the hand, of course, like all of them if you control a no-effect monsters, and thankfully Monk of the Tenyi is not an effect monster. We might see the extremely powerful Link 2 here, just a matter of how hard we want to play into that set copy of Conquistador. I guess what I assume is a set copy of Conquistador. We'll activate Ashuna's effect here, and now we are locked out of specialing anything that is not a worm. We're going to get a Vishuddha, the one that showed up for a while in good decks. It can be banished from the graveyard in order to target a card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. After it's out of the deck, we're firing off a Pot of Desires. Have not used our normal, by the way. And going into a second Monk of the Tenyi here. I'm as confused as you are, chat. Where are we going from this position? Alright, Vishuddha activated here. We can bounce the Eldlich. We can bounce the set copy of Conquistador. Alright, going for the Conquistador here in response to the Vishuddha. But unfortunately, no matter what you destroy, they are going to have 2 material available on board. I think we are likely to see the Master. Alright, we're going to fire off Shathana here. Not going to try that one. Specials one of the destroyed monsters from Graveyard, and then gets to destroy a monster your opponent controls, going for the Conquistador of the Golden Lands. Here comes Masters. Or Shaman. Shaman of the Tenyi discards a card, then targets a worm in your graveyard, specials it, and of course, can't activate anything special from the extra deck except Tenyis for the remainder of the turn. Notably, if a face-up non-effect monster's effect activate, or an attack is declared, you can pop a card your opponent controls. Very powerful. Unfortunately, going to be met with an effect Veiler, and now everything remaining is known information. Use our normal summon on Tenyi Spirit Nahata. This increases the attack of a non-effect monster, or decreases an opponent's monster's attack. And from here we can go into Masters if we so desire. Ooh, going into Tenyi Spirit Sahasrara. I literally do not know what this card is. So this card, it looks like blocks attacks and effect targeting on your effect monsters if your opponent if you control a non-effect monster. Then you can destroy an effect monster that you control, or you can target an opponent's monster, special a token that's a clone of it, and then of course that's Link material for Monk. They're going to use Link Karibo here to decrease the attack of Monk, of course, and we are getting in for 3,000, but if that's the end of the turn, I think we are probably dead to the recursive trap cards of Eldlich. So we'll activate Scarlet Sanguine first. That'll likely be hitting either a Conquistador or a Haketo. And unfortunately, none of these cards target. Next, we'll activate the hand effect of Eldlich, discarding an infinite impermanence drawn for turn. Not very good against this archetype, I would wager. Unfortunately, I think you have to target the Monk here, right? Yep. And that's going to be met with a Graveyard Mapuda, which is going to negate that activation and destroy that card. Eldlich is going to be summoned afterwards. Sampai is in the tournament chat. They are 1-1. And the Tenyi Spirit token onto the field. We're going to the battle phase here. We can decrease the attack by 1,500, I believe, but not enough to prevent the destruction of the Monk of the Tenyi. We'll still have a normal monster to prevent Sidhara's effect from stopping being relevant. Yeah, this is a crusty attack. No real good way here. Ooh, and attacking into the token. Oh no! You forgot about Nathara! Alright, with Narhada in the graveyard, that's going to reduce the attack low enough that they're going to take it. And wow, all of a sudden, they are in a pickle. Haketo's bad. Going to banish the Haketo from graveyard to get, I believe, the remaining Sanguine. And all you have to get off is What? You got to get over exactly one Eldlich the Golden Lord? That doesn't seem very difficult. Firing it this early, not even as a combat trick, trying to use the Haketo for an additional blocker. I mean, it sucks that Spee is going to have to walk through every single card in Eldlich's deck, but this board kind of seems capable of doing it. Doing it pre-combat means that Spee is able to use Sahasrara's effect in order to get a token to his side of the field, which copies the stats. Wow. Alright, so because it's a new turn, we can activate Ashana's effect here. And Ashana's going to special of Ashana. I don't think we have a very good way to get it into the graveyard. We're out of monks, so we'll have to lose the monk for something like yeah, this one exactly. Shaman of the Tenyi. We can fire off Shaman's effect because we know our opponent doesn't have negation for it. We can fire off Vishada's effect to bounce the Eldlich. This is the last time that the Haketo is going to be profitable, but if you want to fire the Haketo, you are not able to flex it as proactively in the battle phase, and it becomes a much worse blocker. Wow, this is really strong. I think Spee actually walks with it from this position. It doesn't negate the effect of Vishada, so you can still use the Vishada to return the Eldlich to Golden Lord. You can use the token into the Haketo. They have nothing to prevent this attack, which is lethal. And wow, Spee walking with a quick game one. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm interested to know what their board plan is. You know, a lot of the reason that Tenyi is pretty specifically good against decks like this is all their cards have a lot of text. It's hard to keep track of a lot of them. And if you're unfamiliar with what the cards do, it's hard to fall for tricks. You know, would Spee have won that game if his opponent didn't play exactly into the red Tenyi and the green Tenyi? Maybe not. It's hard to say. But he won regardless, and his opponent is going to have to kind of piece together what the linear game plan and disruption available to Spee is right now, or else it's not going to matter if they learn how to play against Tenyi at the conclusion of this game. You know, they've got to win this one. Yeah, Chad, absolutely right. Taking advantage of playing jank, your opponent doesn't know what your game plan is. And this is honestly why I like playing kind of rogue decks at high-level places of competition, because I think the difference between kind of good players and intuitive players, or good players and like innovative players, is like innovative players will find out on the fly how they're supposed to adapt their game plan to deal with your opponent's deck. And Eldlich is nothing if not adaptable. You know, like, it's got the ability to maneuver its cards in a way that will interact with its opponent's game plan differently every individual game. So if Ultra Gamer Yu-Gi-Oh! Is able to flex his cards in a way that is particularly bad for Spee based on his knowledge of the matchup that he received from that first game, then I think it's pretty easy for him to take this. But if he's not able to navigate it, then, you know, Spee could walk. Alright, so we're going to go for Magician's Souls here, sending an Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine and a Conquistador, activating Elixir as Chainlink 2 so we don't accidentally draw into one of the cards. I don't know about that. Draw a couple of cards here. Elixir of Black Awakening. Ultra Gamer Yu-Gi-Oh! Really in on the zombie cards. And of course, the version that plays Balerdroch specifically, this card is much better. And most Eldritch pilots have shaved this, but when it gets Balerdroch, it's much better. A lot of people forget the Elixir spells don't have to get Eldritch. If you have an Eldritch on field, they can get any zombie. It leads to some really fun scenarios where you like activate one, find out you don't have a legal target, and then your opponent says, "Are you sure you don't have a legal target? What's the typing on Ash Blossom?" So we're going to begin with Vishada. Vishada, of course, getting around pretty much everything that Eldlich could do pretty effectively. Going to have to be exactly Haketo here, and we know that they searched the Conquistador instead. Spee's ideal play is to remove the Eldlich from the field so that the spells and traps don't actually do anything. That's going to be a lot harder with two of them. Alright, Conquistador firing now. Whoa, I don't know about that. If Spee has any other Tenyi, I mean, you've just allowed Spee to not have to play around your one piece of interaction. And Vishuddha wants to be in the graveyard anyway. Alright, it is then I realized it is monk time. That's an extremely relevant Toby Vok and the Eggs reference for all of you. We're going to go for Tenyi Spirit Nahata. Then from here, if we so desire, we can make the link 2. We can start triggering the graveyard effects. It looks like we're going to do that, going for a Shunna. That's going to Fiend an Ash Blossom, but oh, there's so much you want to Blossom in this deck. Like, what if Spee just slams the Cave? Spee says, it's time? Time for what? Oh! That's a rough one. Well, Danko Seka is a heck of a card against Eldlich, and now on the table, everything. Was that a Foolish Burial sending Mare Mare? Oh no, this game might be all the way over. We're going to return one of the Eldliches. Yep, going into Shaman of the Tenyi here. Shaman's effect, discarding Vanity's Fiend. Not this game. Gonna bring back the Mare Mare. And this card is so strong. I think it's one of the only times you see the word thrice printed on a card. You can decrease its level to summon a token. Now, of course, its level decreases in order to more effectively make synchros. I'm kidding, of course. The tokens can be used for link summons. And notably, they're normal. Can you think of a deck that might want to use that? Yeah, I think this is likely to be the end of the game. We're going to link all 4 away for Sahara. Then we'll activate its effect. Yeah, we'll take a 2500 attack token. I don't mind. Well, this is nice, but notably is not lethal. What's really funny is the individual token protects Danko Seka from being destroyed via Eldlich's effect. That's very funny. We'll activate the effect of Shaman here. That's going to destroy the Eldlich. Allow us to walk over the Conquistador. Attack this 0/0 token. And now 4,700 points of damage. You can trigger all of the effects you want at your end step. What are you going to do? Set more cards? Wow, this is so strong. What an interesting setup. I was expecting to see Vanity's Fiend pass 2 games in a row, but whoa, this Link 4 is incredible. I mean, what do you do from this position? We're using Eldlich to pop one of these set spells and traps to put Eldlich back in the hand. He's big, but summoning him gets you another token with just as much attack as the Eldlich. Are you going to be able to out that token and the existing token before you get to Danko? It seems unlikely. Ooh, it's original attack, so 1 token is not long for this world. Okay, here comes the other one. So we are, in fact, going to be able to make the Danko killable. Now, whether we can kill it afterwards is an entirely different story. You have to walk over the token, of course. Nope. And in main phase 2, correctly identifying the green in the graveyard will prevent anything funky from happening. We'll go ahead and activate Sathara, summoning another 2500 token. And that's going to trigger Shaman. Getting back Mare Mare. That's really cool. Now, the crusty part of this is that we can't actually destroy this copy of Eldlich. Now, Shaman doesn't necessarily require you to destroy monsters, so instead, they're able to destroy the set trap, proc the effect of green Tenyi in graveyard to get over, and then attack directly for lethal. Whoa! A quick and decisive 2-0 for Lil Spee that could, moving them to 3-0. Currently in a pretty good position for continuing their run. That was really cool. I don't try and get, excited for Rogue very often. It just happens. But that put up a pretty convincing game against, maybe not the most powerful build of the deck, but I think inarguably the best, if not one of the top 2 best decks in the format. Wow. Tenyi. It's not just for Vanity's Fiend anymore, apparently. Yeah, that's going to be it for round 3. Looks like a lot of these individuals are wrapping up their games very quickly. If there is a fair amount of downtime, I will see if I can find a game that is already in progress and bring you a little more action. Otherwise, you'll sit in the NCS playlist and you'll like it.